The net was there when I was coming back from uni.
Okay, I'll see you on the... But it doesn't go in very fast.
On both of them there.
Do you get fruit tea or coffee or fruit juice?
Right.
Or cake?
Henry Michaels, is it?
I'm Barry Levy.
Sorry, Barry.
Henry's what's your big tentacle?
Has Sarah Glynn been here now?
Haven't seen her.
No. I saw her last week at Dundee. I'm a journalist, like a writer. I saw Sarah at Dundee last week at the RIC conference. Yeah.
Okay, right.
I'll be putting this out in the media later on. Yeah.
Israel is a terrorist state! Israel is a terrorist state!
Palestina! Viva, viva!
Palestina!
Viva, viva!
Palestina!
Palestine!
Palestine!
Free, free!
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 Palestine!
Free, free! From the desert to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the desert to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the Bravo!
Palestine!
Viva, viva!
Palestina!
Viva, viva!
Palestina!
Viva, viva!
Palestina!
From the desert to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the desert to the sea!
Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine!
Hello? Can I get a big cheer for Shabim? That was phenomenal. Fantastic. Thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to hand you over to one of the chairs of today, which is Jock Morris from the Glasgow campaign to welcome refugees. And the sun is shining. Wonderful day to celebrate multiculturalism. I'll introduce Jock. There you go. Not only is the sun shining, but we arranged an eclipse of the sun yesterday as an omen that this is going to be a great day. We've got the Church of Scotland, the Catholic Church in Scotland, the Central Mosque, so God's on our side. No wonder the sun's shining. Can I ask the speakers please to come to the front? We're going to start. So, I said already, we have the churches and the faith groups supporting this organisation, this demonstration. The City of Glasgow Council support this demonstration. The Scottish Government itself is supporting this demonstration. And it's represented today by a man who has suffered very public racial abuse in the past week and has very magnificently stood up to it and made sure that the bully is going to have to pay for the things he was saying. Can I introduce Humza Yousaf?
Well, for the David Coburns and the UKIPers, to the BNPs, to the SDL, I'll tell you what, I hope you're watching because I've got one message. This is Scotland! Thank you so much from a personal point of view for all the kindness
that you've shown to me, but it's not about me. Thank you for all the kindness that you've showed to every diverse community to say, actually, this is your country. Ladies and gentlemen, you are, without doubt, the conscience of this nation, and I salute you, and I take my hat off to every single one of you. Give yourselves a huge round of applause for being so wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, there are some serious challenges that we face. There is a tidal wave of xenophobia, of bigotry that is swooping across the European continent. And Scotland is in no way immune to that. And we saw that from the remarks of David Coburn, which are just symptomatic of some of the vile bigotry that exists. And on my way here, I was contemplating that it was 20 years ago that my mother, when my family wanted to buy a new house, 20 years ago, my mum was stopped from viewing a house because she was Asian. And it's 20 years ago that the estate agent thought that that little old Asian housewife will just go back in her box. It was 20 years ago that she stood up against them. It was 20 years ago that she took on the establishment. It was 20 years ago that she said, I'm not going to lie down in the face of racism. And 20 years on, that estate agent doesn't exist, and that little Asian housewife still is here, and she's not just a housewife, by the way. She's my hero and my inspiration, and she's still going to this very day. And whether it's women 20, 30, 50 years ago, or whether in the modern day and age, it's those inspirational Glasgow girls, who some of them are here. On behalf of men everywhere, let me say to those women, thank you. Thank you for showing the way. Thank you for leading the way. Thank you in your fight against bigotry, against misogyny, against homophobia, against every form of hate. Because it is the women of this country, and in fact across the world, who carry that leading light, and I think every single one of us should applaud them and thank them for that. As Jock said, I'm here on behalf of the Scottish Government, and people often ask me when I travel around the world, as I have the pleasure and privilege of doing, of selling Scotland on the world stage, they say to me, what do you want Scotland to be known for? I'll tell you what I want Scotland to be known for. I don't want Scotland to be known for its economic prowess alone. I don't want Scotland to be known as the greatest military power in the world. I only want Scotland to be known for one thing. I want Scotland to be known for its compassion. I want everybody in the world to look at Scotland and say that's the country that reaches out to those who need help. I want Scotland to be known as the most just country in the world. I want Scotland to be known as the fairest country in the world. And what better way can we show that compassion than in those who flee sexual violence, those who flee conflict, those who need asylum, those who need refuge? We say to them, this is your home. What better way can we demonstrate that? And on behalf of everybody here, if you're a refugee or an asylum seeker, then let me say on behalf of the Scottish Government, thank you for making Scotland your home. You are the best of us, and thank you for gracing us with your audience and your attendance and your residence in this country. And I'll tell you what, for every refugee that's in this crowd, for every asylum seeker that's in this crowd, and for every single one of us who were born and bred here, or came here from another country, let's take that message out there. That when they say, this is not your country, this is your country. When they tell you this is not your home, this is your home. When they tell you you're not welcome here, you are welcome here. When they tell you this is not your land, this is your land, and we stand with you every step of the way. No pass the land, not then, not now, not ever. Thank you very much. God bless.
Last year, on this day, and this march, we had 1,000 people walking down that same route around the city centre. This morning, we've doubled that and more. There's at least 2,500 of us marching round the streets of Glasgow, giving the message that there is opposition to racism, to the tide of Islamophobia and anti-Semitism that Humza was talking about. And we are here in unity from all parts of the community. Most of the political parties are represented here and are supporting this demonstration and are utterly opposed to racism and Islamophobia and all the rest of it. Unity in diversity. So the next speaker represents another political party, the Labour Party, and his name is Sarwar. He's an MP for Central Glasgow. Sarwar.
Good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Shalom. I am absolutely delighted to be here in my home city of Glasgow to say with one loud and proud voice, we don't care where you come from, we don't care where you were born, we don't care what your faith is, we don't care your sexuality, we don't care the colour of your skin. This is your home, one Glasgow, one voice, one Scotland. I was reflecting when my brother Humza was speaking just before me, when he told that story about his own mother, and I was thinking it must reflect stories of so many mothers in this audience today. And I actually remember one of my first ever political thoughts was one day leaving my house to go to school, seeing a letter that looked rather strange on my doorstep, picking it up, opening it rather foolishly, and seeing a picture of my own mother mopped up as if she was tied up with two guns pointed to her head and said, "See you, you black bastard. Boom boom, that's all it takes." That was the hate of Combat 18 back then. That was the hate that the BNP demonstrate now. That's the hate that the SDL and the EDL want to spread across our country. But you know what? We fought them and we beat them then, and we will fight them and we will beat them now. Because I tell you what we represent. I represent and you represent a Glasgow and a Scotland that doesn't look at the colour of your skin. It looks at what you believe in as an individual. It doesn't look at the value of your bank account. It looks at the values you have as a human being. A Glasgow and a Scotland that doesn't look at the faith that you carry, but the faith that you have in humanity. It represents a Glasgow and a Scotland that doesn't say where is it you came from, but what is it you can do for this great country, Scotland. And I say to you now, the challenge that we have, brothers and sisters, is not just to take on the hate of people that live in this country, but together stand shoulder to shoulder with every single person who suffers injustice, hate, criminality, unfairness, inequality, any place in the world, because they are our own brothers and sisters too. That's the real challenge and fight we face. And can I say, as someone who's of proud Muslim faith, I don't see my faith as being contrary to the values of this country. I see it being in solidarity with the values of this country. I don't think any Muslim should ever have to apologise for the stupidity, the ugliness, the horror that other people who claim to carry that faith make you when they do hateful incidents. And I'll give you the perfect example. We were all disgusted, horrified, heartbroken, hurt when we saw the hate of those people in Paris. But you know who the true Muslim that day was? It wasn't the person carrying the gun and killing the innocent person. The true Muslim that day was the police officer who lost his own life protecting the right of an organisation to spread hate about his own faith. That's the real Muslim that day. And what I say to you all is, let's all come together, irrespective of political party, because that does not matter at all. Let's come together, a people of all faiths and none, to say we stand shoulder to shoulder together, and we will not be defeated, and justice will always win the day. Thank you.
Thanks, Honest. The stewards are looking for volunteers to start doing a bucket count.